Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and FREY, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. Oh, man. This past week has been a complete disaster. There have been so many happenings. There have been so many things to talk about. And your go-to place for Nintendo-related news was off of YouTube for that week. I released a statement that was so edgy and so controversial that YouTube decided to take down my channel for an entire week. YouTube did not like the fact that I was overtly critical of Hellena Taylor. Now, the official line is that I was bullying her, but I've gone over the footage. The worst thing I did was call her names. I use pretty strong language, but what essentially happened is that I used some strong language in regard to this situation. I'm trying not to say the specific words I used because I was 100% in the right. Okay, I tried to appeal this. I tried to come back sooner. I tried to find some way around this, but YouTube TOS is just complete garbage. There was nothing wrong with what I did. I stand by that, and I have been vindicated. I think everyone, from Review Tech USA, from industry insiders to people in the industry to Platinum to game journos, basically everyone over the past week has immediately had this giant flip of opinion. Initially, most people, and this is the reason, one of the reasons I was so angry, most people were very big on oh, Hellena Taylor, oh, I love her, I can't believe Platinum lowballed her like this. Meanwhile, I was making some very astute observations that other people weren't really bringing up. For example, how much dialogue typically is in a Bayonetta game, right? I was very well aware that Hellena Taylor's voice, they essentially had her there for a week for the first two games, right? So I was very, very skeptical that Bayonetta 3 would be so much more demanding than the first two games. My opinion was that $4,000 was a perfectly fair price, right? That was my official stance. Now, the story, now that it's evolved, is that that was for what actually happened is that Taylor was supposed to be paid $4,000 per session, but she was trying to push them to pay her six figures. She was really going for those Hollywood wages. And so Platinum decided to throw her to the curb and hire Jennifer Hale. Now, this is basically what I expected would happen behind the scenes. What's interesting, other than the fact that I got taken off YouTube for talking about this, what's interesting to me is just how quickly people flipped, right? Initially, a lot of people were very, very willing to kind of just blindly believe Hellena Taylor's lies regarding her relationship with Platinum and just the nature of what she was doing and just openly violating NDA. I think a lot of people really thought that Hellena Taylor was on their side. She was being very manipulative in that video. I don't know if I openly talked about this, but in her initial set of videos, she's simultaneously trying to appeal to the woke liberal mob by talking about starving nurses and shit like that, people who can't feed their kids, and then ends on a Bible quote. It was the most bizarre attempt at garnering sympathy I've ever seen in my life. It really did feel like she was trying to set everyone against Platinum. And it was a weird situation because initially game journalists were in favor of supporting her. They thought that she really had gotten fucked over. Right. And so for the first day or so, you were seeing all these crazy narratives about how voice actors are disrespected and how Hellena Taylor deserves so much more. And eventually, it kind of became understood that, yeah, Taylor was full of crap, so much so that even the most hardcore pro voice acting industry people in the industry, even they were kind of calling her out on her nonsense. She was, in essence, being a diva. All right. Which is weird considering how she's not all that famous. My assumption is that she really thought that Bayonetta would be her big break into getting into the voice acting industry and becoming a big deal, when that never really happen. Like people love her as Bayonetta. Like I love her as Bayonetta. But on the flip side, like you have to respect the people who actually make the games. You have to respect the actual buzz. But you have to understand what you're actually worth. And I do think in the end, I don't think Hellena Taylor is going to be missed. I've been seeing some clips of Bayonetta 3. I've been seeing Jennifer Hale's performance, and honestly, I think Bayo is cuter than she's ever been, going by what we've seen. Like she has like these very anime-esque kind of designs. She looks thinner, she looks younger. I like that. The voice is different. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. More than the first two games. And like I don't think when the game actually comes out, like anyone's really going to be talking negatively about Hellena Taylor's absence, especially like after this controversy. It just felt like very, very petty. And to me, okay, so one of the things I really wanted to mention is, I hate Platinum Games. I have issues with like the things they've done and the things they've said and stuff like that. But like, I want it known that in this specific instance, they really didn't do anything wrong. I've looked at the numbers, and like it seems very clear cut at this point that Taylor was very, very much overestimating her own worth and her contributions to the project. And like Platinum did exactly what they should have done and just threw her to the curb. I don't know if like whether or not this is a good thing. I would say it is, because I really don't like these nobodies thinking they can become famous. I have this problem with people like Yang Ye, like some of these YouTubers who are trying to break it into the voice acting industry. Never going to happen. I have a lot of problems with people like that who try to use their like alleged voice acting careers as some like status symbol, as if they're like worth anything. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about the voice actors. Again, this is I'm kind of on this mindset at the moment, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind. I do think of actors as nothing more than prostitutes. Like fundamentally, you're whoring out your voice, but generally speaking, you're not all that talented. You're not all that worthy of respect. There's nothing about you that's special or interesting. If anything, I kind of stand by my initial statement, in which I think $4,000 to play Bayonetta was far too much. Not even like per session. I meant like the entire game. I don't think she should have been paid more than that. I don't understand why there was such I don't know why the pay is so inflated for them. I don't like that at all. I really wish actors would just make a normal, would just make nothing, essentially, because what they do isn't really contributing to the project. I would personally prefer games to like not have voice acting at all, or to have like exclusively Japanese voice actors. I'm sick of these like Westerners. Voice acting, next to game journalism, is probably like one of the most woke fields we've seen in gaming, because like even today we kind of get like news of like developers who are like pro Gamergate or not in tune with like the woke mob. Like the guy working on like the Harry Potter game got like flack for that, right? Because he supports Gamergate. Yeah, so does everyone else that isn't like a complete fucking idiot, like it's just I'm curious. Just I think this is a big reason why the voice acting community is so like insulated, and why like it's so difficult to penetrate, because there are so many people like Taylor who think they can just become famous by just doing a voice, when that's not really the case. Like if you're famous, it's because the establishment wants you to be famous. It has nothing to do with your talent or your ability or your creativity. It's entirely because like, look at this person, and you can be like them if you just believe the things they believe. It's buy their product. It's disgusting. It really is. I don't like seeing these actors just act like they're a big deal, like I don't like it. And I hope that going forward, more people start to see things the way I do.